biggest lie that OCD tells is this isn't really OCD. And people fall for it even though they already know that they experience OCD. I'm Dr. Liz White, a consultant clinical psychologist. I work with a lot of people with OCD. And one of the things that I see time and time again is how quickly the mind can convince you this thought, this doubt, this feeling is the exception. This is the one you need to pay attention to. And in this video, I'm going to break down that lie. I'm going to explain why it's there, and stick around to the end because I'm going to show you step by step how to not fall for it and what to do instead so that you can break free from that OCD cycle. But first, to understand why this lie is so powerful and so convincing, we need to look at what's going on underneath. OCD doesn't just make you doubt your feelings, your intentions, your thoughts. It also makes you doubt your very understanding and experience of OCD itself. Now, we know from brain imaging studies that people with OCD show increased activation in the anterior cingulate cortex, and that is the brain's error detection system, which can fire off something is wrong even when nothing is happening. Your doubt isn't coming from evidence. It's coming from an internal alarm system that fires off much more than it needs to. And here's the thing. OCD doesn't ask for proof. It just needs that slightest hint of possibility, and it will run with it as if it's fact. Let me show you what I mean with an example. So let's take the example of Sam. Sam is 27. He's a quiet person. He's gentle. He wouldn't hurt a fly. He's lived with OCD for years and usually spots intrusive thoughts as soon as they come up. Until one evening, he's just washing the dishes and he suddenly gets an image of pushing a stranger in the street. His mind reacts instantly. Why am I thinking that? I've never had this theme before. Would someone with OCD think thoughts this dark? This can't be OCD. And within minutes, he is analyzing his feelings, scanning his body for signs that he's dangerous, replaying that image in his mind over and over again to try and understand it. Now, the thing to know here is that research consistently shows that intrusive thoughts in OCD are ego dystonic. They clash with your values and your identity. The more a thought goes against who you are, the more distress it creates. And the other thing to say is that intrusive, violent, or taboo thoughts are not rare. In a classic study by Purdon and Clark, they found that 99% of people in their sample reported at least one intrusive thought. So the difference in OCD isn't the thought, it's the meaning that someone attaches to it. Now, here's the part that many people underestimate. The reason it feels so believable in the first place. OCD targets the areas that matter the most to you. Your identity, your relationships. But inference-based CBT or iCBT for OCD adds something really crucial. The idea of the feared possible self, the worst version of you that your mind can possibly imagine. And in Sam's case, that is the person that could harm someone. So OCD doesn't just generate these intrusive thoughts, it creates a feared identity that you are terrified of becoming. So when an intrusive thought comes in and it hits that sensitive area, your brain immediately goes searching for meaning. It starts asking, and often this is without you even noticing, could this be evidence that I am that feared version of myself? To show you how powerful that pull can be, I'm going to talk about another example. Aisha is 34. She is a really warm person. She's committed. She's thoughtful. She's had OCD for years and knows the cycles. But one afternoon, she briefly notices someone on the other side of the road, and they're really attractive. A completely normal human moment. But that evening, she gets this jolt of guilt. Why did I notice him? Does this say something about my relationship? This can't be an intrusive thought. This can't be OCD. Maybe it's revealing something. Would someone who truly loves their partner notice somebody else in that way. This is guilt, not OCD. This must mean that I don't love him. And then the compulsion starts, replaying that moment over and over again, trying to get clarity, trying to get answers, checking her attraction level to her partner, comparing the stranger to her partner, analyzing every feeling. And this is classic OCD. An ego dystonic moment gets interpreted as evidence. Now, research shows that the more alien or unacceptable a thought feels, the harder people try to neutralize it. So by bedtime, she's really convinced this isn't OCD, this is the truth. And if we zoom out for a second, the real issue becomes much clearer. The trigger isn't the problem, your interpretation of it is. And because it feels so intense, OCD can really get in there and convince you this one is really different. It's got nothing to do with OCD. So, what actually helps? How can you not fall prey to this very convincing lie that OCD tells? Let me show you the steps that you can take. Firstly, try and catch the lie. Try and notice when you have the thought, this isn't OCD. And to help with this, try and name the process. Don't get stuck in the content of the thought. So you might say to yourself, OCD is lying again. This is just another ploy to get me stuck in the OCD cycle. OCD is trying to trick me into thinking this isn't OCD. Another crucial step is to stop debating the intrusive thought or the doubt. No replaying, no analyzing, no comparing, no going over old memories. You do not need to engage with the content of the thought. And lastly, let the uncertainty be there. So even if you manage to not engage, and this is really hard, it's really hard not engaging. But if you do manage to do that, you're going to be left with some really tricky, difficult feelings: uncertainty, unease, discomfort, anxiety, fear, guilt. But just like with the doubt or the intrusive thought, you do not need to do anything with those feelings. You can allow them to just be there. Now, I do have a video on how to cope with difficult feelings, so that might be a good video to look at. And lastly, move towards your values. So ask yourself, in this moment, when OCD is trying to pull me in, what kind of person do I want to be? How can I move towards my values and what's important to me? Go play with your kids in the garden if being a present parent is important to you. Go and give your partner a hug if being affectionate is important to you. Whatever it is, go do that thing. Shift your attention to something that's meaningful to you. Because if I know anything about OCD, it's that it takes you away from your life. But you can make a different choice when it shows up. So here are the key points that I really want you to take away from this video. The biggest lie that OCD tells is this time it's different. This isn't OCD. You need to pay attention to this and do something about it. But the truth is, you don't need to do any of those things. You just need to stop buying into that lie and recognize it as a lie, as just another trick that OCD is doing. I hope this has helped. Do let me know in the comments how you get on with some of the steps that I've talked about today. And if you have gotten value from the video, do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in the next video.